Hi, I'm Jill Clifton of Landscape of Mothers, and I think it's been a while, if ever, that I've shared the origin story of Landscape of Mothers. And it came to me at a time when I'd been struggling with my parenting for a long time. I had identified a lot of problems. I had gathered up a few solutions, and I was still trying to create some kind of coherence in who I was as a parent, so that I was more predictable and that the things that I was doing with the kids made sense. And so just magically though, one night, I think it was a full moon in February, and I can't remember what year it was, 2017. And one night I was going to bed, and just I heard these words in my head, Landscape of Mothers. And I thought, oh gosh, if that book exists, I'd really like to read it. And so I looked around for a while, and it didn't already exist. And so I was like, okay, well, so I put my phone away and I was getting ready for bed. And it was just things started falling in. Like I just started hearing, like, Wind Mother was the first one who came through. And so because I was going to bed, I had turned off my light, laid down, and then just like these ideas started flowing of Wind Mother, and she'd be this light, joyful mother, and she would also have a little bit of trouble with like grounding or being solid or consistent. And so I was starting to see the archetype right away. And so I would get up and I would write things down. I'd flip on the light, write down a few things, be like, okay, the notes for tomorrow, I gotta go to bed. And then I turn off the light and lay back down, and then more stuff would come, and I'd be like, oh, I should write that down. I'd turn on the light and write. And eventually I'd turn on and off the light so many times my husband couldn't go to sleep. So I opened the window shade, and the full moonlight came in, and I sat there writing about Wind Mother by moonlight. And then just like it opened a flood. And I hesitate to say that I created Landscape of Mothers, although I do use that word sometimes, because I actually physically like wrote it down. But I feel like over months then I just got a whole bunch of understandings, and I think it came from that, me trying to integrate my parenting experience. And so yeah, I ended up, in the end, I think I had like 30 archetypes. And when I realized I had these landscapes, these earth-based archetypes, there were 8. And when I decided I needed a way to visualize them, I went and pulled cards from different oracle decks or whatever, anything I thought that could match what I had. And I just laid them out in a circle, and I didn't think about it or mean to. And as soon as I did, I just saw all the connections between them, and I could see what was across the wheel, and I could see how we could get caught in these binaries, or these double binds bouncing back and forth between two mothers. And then I saw how because there are an odd number in the circle, there are actually 2 mothers across from each mother, and that provided some sense of stability. It provided a direction for all of that bouncing energy to go. And it really started to help me to integrate my own sense of how these parts of myself, or the different pieces of motherhood that I had tried to cultivate, made sense together. And so I feel like I learned from Landscape of Mothers as it came through me, or I don't know, however you want to talk about that. But that's why I guess I call myself the creator of Landscape of Mothers. And that is what I wrote down, and I have been living with and by for almost 10 years. Thanks.